Imagine looking up at the sky in the year 2026 and seeing something no one believed could ever exist. At first, people thought it was a drone, or maybe some kind of elaborate viral stunt flying between the skyscrapers. But the creature gliding above the city traffic moved with the grace of something unmistakably alive. A glowing horn shimmered in the golden sunset light. Massive wings stretched across the sky, cutting silently through the evening air. Reflections of the entire city danced across those wings as it climbed higher above the skyline. Within minutes, people everywhere were pointing their phones toward the sky. Crowds gathered on sidewalks. Drivers slowed their cars. Everyone was watching the same impossible sight. The creature rose into the clouds, moving effortlessly above the buildings. For a moment, the sunset turned it into a silhouette straight out of ancient legends. And when news helicopters finally caught up, the entire world realized something extraordinary, because what people were seeing was not a drone, and it certainly was not a trick. It was a unicorn. But the real surprise came later, because once the shock faded, humans did what humans have always done. They adapted. Within just a few short years, unicorns were no longer mysterious creatures from forgotten myths. They became part of everyday life. Across the countryside, unicorn farms began to appear, places that looked surprisingly similar to the horse ranches of the past. Farmers quickly learned how to care for their wings, how to groom their feathers, and how to keep these powerful creatures healthy. Breeding programs soon followed. Baby unicorns began running through open fields under warm golden sunlight. Their wings small at first, barely able to lift them from the ground. But every year they grew stronger. Stronger wings, longer flights. Workers brushed and cleaned their feathers carefully, like prized animals worth fortunes for farmers. These creatures quickly became more than magical discoveries. They became partners. Some farmers used them to check their land from the air. Others raised entire herds that drifted across the countryside sky like silent birds. Families began visiting unicorn farms just to see them up close. Children laughed as the creatures walked slowly across green fields. And slowly, a completely new industry was born. Unicorn markets appeared across the world. Buyers traveled from city to city, searching for the perfect breed. Some unicorns were ordinary, others were incredibly rare. Black-winged unicorns with glowing horns quickly became symbols of wealth and prestige. Luxury stables displayed them like priceless works of art. Auctions sold the strongest unicorns for unimaginable prices. Soon, unicorn dealerships opened in major cities. Buying a unicorn became almost as common as buying a car. But there was one important rule. If you wanted to fly one, you needed a license. Governments created special training academies. New riders learned how to balance in the air, how to guide the wings, and how to control the flight. At first it wasn't easy. The sky was unfamiliar territory. But once people mastered it, everything began to change. Traffic on the ground suddenly felt slow. Above the highways, riders quietly passed over endless lines of cars. Commuters started flying to work. Businessmen crossed entire districts in minutes. Cities even created sky lanes to organize unicorn traffic. Delivery companies quickly joined the trend. Packages began arriving from the sky. Police patrols soared high above the streets. Tourists flew along skylines just to experience the breathtaking view. Friends gathered on weekends and rode along coastlines chasing the sunset. And slowly, something incredible happened. The sky filled with wings. What once felt impossible became completely normal. Yet even in this modern world of unicorn riders and floating sky highways, the magic never truly disappeared. Because every time someone looks up and sees those wings cutting through the clouds, they remember something important: wonder, freedom, and the quiet reminder that the world can still surprise us. Somewhere high above the clouds tonight, a lone rider is still flying, crossing the endless sky, following the wind, and disappearing slowly into the sunset, just like a legend.